The music started playing, but nobody expected to see what happened next. What began as Ellen's typical Thursday show was about to become the most inspiring story of determination, conquering every limitation that television had ever witnessed. 14-year-old Zoe Thompson sat in her wheelchair in the front row, her eyes sparkling with excitement as she watched Ellen's opening dance segment. Her best friend Maya sat beside her, nervously clutching a small video camera that contained a secret she'd been keeping for months. Behind them sat Jennifer Thompson, Zoe's mother, who had brought her daughter to the show after winning tickets in a radio contest that she'd entered, hoping to give Zoe a special experience. What she didn't know was that Maya had submitted a video to Ellen's producers that had moved the entire team to tears within minutes of viewing. Ellen finished her opening dance and walked toward the audience, immediately noticing Zoe's bright smile and infectious energy that seemed to radiate throughout the studio. "I love seeing young people in our audience who appreciate good choreography," Ellen said with her characteristic warmth. Zoe beamed at the attention, her hands moving expressively as she spoke with the confidence of someone discussing her greatest passion. "I love dancing more than anything in the world, Ellen." Ellen's expression shifted slightly as she noticed Zoe's wheelchair, but her smile remained genuine and encouraging, showing no pity or awkwardness. "That's wonderful, sweetheart. Do you dance?" "Every single day," Zoe replied without hesitation, her voice filled with passion that surprised everyone within earshot and challenged their preconceptions. "I dance in my room, in the kitchen, everywhere I can find space." Maya squeezed Zoe's hand, knowing this was the moment she'd been hoping for since she'd first had the idea to contact Ellen's show. Ellen sensed there was more to this story than a simple love of dance. "Maya," Ellen said, having noticed the video camera, "what's that you're holding?" Maya's face flushed as she realized she'd been caught with her secret recording equipment. "I made a video for you," Maya said quietly, her voice trembling with nervousness about sharing something so important to her. "About Zoe." Ellen knelt down to the girl's level, her curiosity piqued by the obvious emotion in Maya's voice and the careful way she was protecting her camera. "What kind of video? Can I show you?" Maya asked, looking between Ellen and Zoe with hopeful eyes that carried months of planning and anticipation. "I think everyone needs to see what Zoe can do." Ellen looked at Zoe, who appeared both excited and nervous about whatever Maya had recorded without her knowledge. "Zoe, is it okay if we watch Maya's video?" Zoe nodded enthusiastically, though there was a hint of vulnerability in her expression, as she prepared to have her most private moments shared publicly. "Maya's been my best friend since kindergarten. She believes in me more than anyone." Ellen gestured to her production team, and within minutes Maya's video was loaded onto the studio's large screen while the audience settled into expectant silence. The audience settled into attentive silence as the video began to play. The screen showed Zoe in what appeared to be her bedroom, positioned in front of a full-length mirror with professional lighting that Maya had carefully arranged. Upbeat music was playing, and suddenly, Zoe began to move in ways that defied every expectation. Her upper body flowed with the rhythm, her arms creating beautiful lines and shapes that told a story without words while demonstrating technical precision. Her wheelchair became part of the choreography, spinning and gliding as she used every part of her mobility to express the music. The audience gasped audibly as they watched Zoe's incredible talent unfold on screen, their preconceptions about disability and dance being shattered with each graceful movement. This wasn't someone dancing despite a disability, this was pure artistry that happened to be performed from a wheelchair. Maya's voice could be heard on the video. "Zoe's been dancing like this since we were little kids. She choreographs her own routines and practices for hours every day." The video continued, showing Zoe performing different styles of dance with technical skill and emotional depth that many professional dancers would envy. Her face radiated joy as she moved, completely lost in the music and free from any self-consciousness about her disability. "No dance school will accept her." Maya's voice continued on the recording with frustration evident in her young voice. "They all say they're not equipped for wheelchair dancers, but Zoe is more talented than any of their students." Ellen watched the video with growing amazement, her eyes filling with tears as she witnessed Zoe's extraordinary ability and the obvious injustice of her exclusion. The studio audience was completely silent, mesmerized by what they were seeing. The video ended with Zoe speaking directly to the camera with raw honesty. "I know my legs don't work like other people's, but when I dance, I feel like I'm flying. I just want someone to give me a chance to show what I can do." As the screen went black, the studio remained silent for several seconds before erupting in spontaneous applause that seemed to go on forever. Ellen wiped tears from her eyes as she turned back to Zoe. "Zoe," Ellen said, her voice thick with emotion and genuine admiration, "that was absolutely incredible. How long have you been dancing?" "Since I was 5 years old," Zoe replied, her confidence growing with the positive response from the audience. "I was born with spina bifida, but dancing makes me feel whole." Ellen stood up slowly, processing what she'd just witnessed, and feeling a mixture of awe and anger at the injustice Zoe had faced. "And dance schools really won't accept you?" Zoe's expression dimmed slightly as she nodded, the pain of repeated rejection visible in her eyes. "They say they don't have the right facilities or instructors who know how to teach wheelchair dance." Jennifer Thompson, Zoe's mother, spoke up from behind them with a voice heavy with frustration and sadness. "We've contacted over 20 dance studios in our area. They're all very polite, but they all say the same thing." Ellen felt her heart breaking as she understood the magnitude of rejection this talented young girl had faced simply because of others' limitations. "Zoe, what do you want most in the world?" "I want to learn from real dance teachers," Zoe said without hesitation, her voice carrying years of longing. "I want to perform on a real stage and show people that dancing isn't just about legs." Ellen walked to her desk, her mind racing with possibilities and determination to right this wrong. "Well, I think it's time we change some minds about what dance can look like." She picked up her phone and made a call right there on stage, not caring about television protocol. "I need to speak to the artistic director of the LA Contemporary Dance Theater immediately." The audience watched in fascination as Ellen conducted a live phone conversation with the urgency of someone on a mission. "I have someone here you need to meet. Can you come to the studio right now?" Within 15 minutes, renowned choreographer David Martinez arrived at the studio, having rushed over from his dance company after Ellen's compelling phone call. Ellen introduced him to Zoe, explaining what they'd just witnessed. "Zoe," David said after watching Maya's video, "would you be willing to show me some of your dancing right here?" His voice carried the respect of one artist speaking to another. Zoe's eyes lit up with excitement and terror at the prospect of performing for a professional choreographer. "Right now? In front of everyone?" "Only if you want to," Ellen assured her, understanding the courage this would require. "But I think everyone here would love to see your talent live." Zoe looked at Maya, who nodded encouragingly, then at her mother, who was crying with pride and anticipation. "What music should I dance to?" Ellen smiled and gestured to her DJ with the excitement of someone about to witness something special. "What's your favorite song to dance to?" "Stronger" by Kelly Clarkson, Zoe replied immediately, without any hesitation. "It makes me feel powerful." As the music began, something magical happened in Ellen's studio that would be remembered by everyone present. Zoe positioned herself in the center of the stage and began to move with a grace and power that silenced every person in the audience. Her wheelchair became an extension of her body as she spun, reached, and flowed with the rhythm in ways that seemed to defy physics. Every movement was deliberate and beautiful, telling a story of strength and resilience. David Martinez watched with professional appreciation, recognizing technical skill and artistic interpretation that impressed even him with years of experience. This wasn't inspirational dancing, this was simply exceptional dancing. The audience was on their feet before the song ended, many people crying as they witnessed something they'd never seen before and would never forget. Ellen stood at the side of the stage, overwhelmed by Zoe's talent and presence. When the music stopped, the applause was thunderous and sustained, filled with genuine appreciation rather than sympathy. Zoe sat in the center of the stage, beaming with the joy of someone who had finally been seen for who she truly was. "Zoe," David said, approaching her with obvious excitement and professional respect, "I want to offer you something that no one should have been foolish enough to deny you." He knelt down to her level with the seriousness of someone making a life-changing offer. "I want to invite you to join our junior company at LA Contemporary Dance Theater." Zoe's mouth fell open in shock, unable to process that her dream was suddenly becoming reality. Really? You want me in your dance company? Not because you're in a wheelchair, David clarified with the clarity of someone who understood the distinction, but because you're an exceptional dancer who happens to use a wheelchair. There's a difference. Ellen watched this exchange with tears streaming down her face, witnessing a moment of pure justice and recognition. But David, that's not all we're going to do. She walked to her desk and returned with several envelopes that her team had prepared during the commercial break. Zoe, your story has inspired me to do something bigger. Ellen addressed the audience directly with the passion of someone announcing a mission. Today we're launching the Ellen DeGeneres Adaptive Dance Foundation, with Zoe as our first scholarship recipient. The audience erupted in applause as Ellen explained her vision for changing the landscape of dance education. This foundation will provide scholarships, training, and performance opportunities for dancers with disabilities. But more than that, Ellen continued with growing excitement, we're going to change the conversation about what dance looks like and who gets to participate. Zoe was overwhelmed, tears of joy streaming down her face as she processed the magnitude of what was happening to her life. I can't believe this is real. Maya jumped up from her seat and hugged her best friend tightly, her own tears of happiness flowing freely. I told you someone would see how amazing you are. Ellen brought David back to center stage for a moment that would define the foundation's mission. David, what do you see when you look at Zoe's dancing? I see an artist who uses every tool available to create beauty, David replied thoughtfully with the wisdom of years in dance. Her wheelchair isn't a limitation, it's another instrument in her artistic arsenal. Ellen nodded, then addressed the audience again with the authority of someone creating change. I want everyone to understand what we've witnessed today. This isn't about overcoming disability. This is about recognizing talent wherever it exists. As the segment continued, Ellen learned more about Zoe's journey and the years of dedication behind her skill. She'd been dancing since childhood, creating her own choreography and practicing for hours, despite repeated rejections. Maya had been documenting Zoe's talent for months, hoping to find someone who would recognize her friend's abilities and give her the chance she deserved. Her loyalty and advocacy had made this moment possible. The most beautiful thing about this friendship, Ellen told the audience, is that Maya never saw Zoe's wheelchair as something to overcome. She just saw her friend's incredible talent. Ellen arranged for Zoe to begin training immediately with professional instructors who specialized in adaptive dance techniques and understood her unique needs. The foundation would cover all costs and provide ongoing support. But Ellen had one more surprise that would complete this transformation and show Zoe her future community. Zoe, I've been in touch with some friends of mine who happen to be professional dancers. The curtain behind them opened to reveal 5 members of a renowned contemporary dance company, all in wheelchairs, ready to perform with Zoe. Their presence immediately showed Zoe that she wasn't alone in her artistic journey. Meet the members of Axis Dance Company, Ellen announced with obvious pride. They're here to show you that you're joining a community of incredible artists. Zoe watched in amazement as the professional dancers performed a piece specifically choreographed for this moment, their skill transcending any limitations. Their skill and artistry were undeniable, their wheelchairs integrated seamlessly into breathtaking choreography. When they finished, they invited Zoe to join them for an impromptu collaboration that would showcase the power of inclusive dance. What followed was pure magic, as 8 dancers moved together, creating something beautiful and unprecedented on daytime television. The audience was witnessing the birth of something new, a young artist finding her community and her place in the professional dance world. Ellen's closing words that day became the motto for the foundation. Dance is not about the body you have, it's about the spirit you bring to movement. 6 months later, Zoe returned to Ellen's show to perform a piece she'd choreographed with her new dance company, demonstrating remarkable growth. Her technical skills had grown exponentially under professional instruction. The most amazing thing, Zoe told Ellen during her return visit, is that I'm not the only wheelchair dancer anymore. The foundation has helped dozens of dancers find their place in the dance world. Maya, still Zoe's biggest supporter, had become an advocate for adaptive arts programs in schools throughout their state. Her friendship with Zoe had taught her the power of believing in someone when they can't believe in themselves. David Martinez reported that Zoe had become one of their most dedicated and talented company members, inspiring other dancers with her work ethic and artistic vision. Ellen's foundation had grown to support adaptive dance programs in over 50 cities, proving that talent exists everywhere and deserves recognition and opportunity. The video Maya made that day became a catalyst for changing how the dance world thought about inclusion and accessibility worldwide. Zoe's story inspired countless other young dancers with disabilities to pursue their dreams. But perhaps the most beautiful outcome was watching Zoe transform from a girl with a dream into a professional artist who happened to use a wheelchair. Her identity as a dancer had finally been separated from her disability, because true artistry knows no physical boundaries, and sometimes the most powerful movement comes from those who've had to fight for the right to move at all.